what I am going to talk about now is the Joe Rogan experience. So this is something that I've known for a very long time. Like Joe Rogan has like old clips where he's just like straight up blasting the N-word. I don't think he's done that in a while. Like, I don't think he doesn't do that at all anymore. But I've been aware of this for a long ass time. For a lot of people, it was like new controversy in the aftermath. Like in the aftermath of his like COVID denial shit, people found his like older clips. Yeah, here, this is what you guys sent me. I think this is like the original thread that like really blew up. Joe Rogan basically is just like saying the N-word in these clips. He's saying like, hoping to see Planet of the Apes in a good neighborhood. We walked to the black of the Planet of the Apes. He walked in the African dude. He walked in the door and there was no white people. Like he's saying he compared black people to apes. I don't know if we should show it again, but we can if you want. Like, but these aren't new. These are super old. It's like Brian Redband and like Joey Diaz. Like I've seen all these clips before. Here's the thing. The N-word stuff, that's like, some of it's clipped out of context because he's like saying the N-word because he thinks he's like allowed to say it when talking about it in a newsworthy way. I'm just gonna, before I show you this stuff, I will, but this is unacceptable. Like, this is just classic, like, you know, saying black people, comparing black people to Planet of the Apes, right? He also posted an apology about it, which I think is good. Like, look, I shit on Joe Rogan a lot, okay? I shit on Joe Rogan a lot. You guys know this. It's my favorite thing to do when it's valid. No, I wouldn't say he's forced to apologize. I wouldn't say that at all. I think like the right is going to use this as an opportunity to pull Joe further and further to the right. The reality is that like, this is something that I don't even know if he like actually apologized for this in the past, but I know for a fact that it's not something that he does anymore. This is like not an ongoing issue. You know what I mean? Why are you defending him? You love him too much? No, man, this is one issue where I've always been like super consistent on. Did you see the right wingers are sharing a video of TYT host saying the N-word? There's a clip of you in there as well. There's a clip of me saying the N-word. Really? It could be. It's probably fucking like a quote, like a newsworthy, like a quote from a news clip or something. Like where I'm reading someone else's quote. There's no way that like people on the Young Turks Network were just like straight up saying the N-word. Like, no shot. This is it. Oh, trigger warning. I forgot to mention.
I know these are like difficult words to hear, but words like nigger and fag, you niggers.
Yeah, this is all fucking quotes, like reading news quotes when you're doing news coverage. Why are you showing this? Why are you playing it? I want to see where I've said it.
Run.
It's so out of context. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's very obvious that they're like reading quotes, and I don't know where mine is from. It could be from reading a quote, or it could be like the classic. They stretched it to make it seem like I'm saying it or something, but I don't know. Anna Kasparian said, back in the day, we had a policy on TYT when covering gross statements made by racists instead of sanitizing their quotes with the N-word. We could read the quotes verbatim. Context does matter. Cancel me if you like. Don't care. Yeah. And for the record, this is not even a thing that we have anymore. This is not a thing that the Young Turks does anymore. This is not a thing that I've done for a very, very long time for this specific reason. Like, does that make sense? Because it's not all right to say. The clip isn't even 1 second long. That's how clip chimped it is. This? Yeah, I mean, it's like half of a second. Joe Biden is quite literally more racist than Joe Rogan. What kind of take is this? And this guy, wait, so like, is this guy pro-Biden? Like, this is what I don't understand. So like, I threw my hat in the ring, right? I threw my hat in the ring and I said, like, it's kind of wild that people are fucking even comparing this. Like, Joe Rogan is nowhere near as damaging to black people as fucking Joe Biden is, right? You know, Jim Crow Joe. And it's so strange. We're like, what is your dog in this fight? You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know why the fuck I'm getting dragged into this. Everybody knows what my thing is. People didn't read your next tweet in the reply. They thought you just meant Biden saying it in transcript. People know what my take is. Like, I literally used to say the N-word as well. Like, it's something that I've talked about before. Not the hard R N-word, but like when I was in Turkey, oh my God, of course. There's literally a Turkish rapper who has the N-word with a soft A tattooed on him. I know every time I fucking say this, people always throw this up like, yeah, I did. Like, I've talked about this a million times, dude. What the fuck? But it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. If you want to fucking, if you think that means that I'm a racist person, if you think that means that like anything about me, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, okay, yeah, I'm a racist, you know? It's not even young and edgy, for the record. Like, in Turkey, you don't even think about it. We have literally a chocolate, or not even a chocolate, an Oreo, like a Turkish version of an Oreo, that is the old, like not the N word, but the Spanish word for black that they recently changed, like literally last year, because there aren't any black people in Turkey. It's just the truth. There's like 12 black Turkish people. There's like 12 Afro-Turks. Part of the reason for that is because of Turkey participating in equal opportunity slavery in general, and not necessarily doing chattel slavery, and not doing what the Western colonies did. But I recognize it. Like, I live in America. Like, I live in America. I understood that it was unacceptable, and I stopped. You know what I mean? So I don't know what you want. You want to fucking kill me? Go ahead. Like, you know what I mean? It's not something I can change. For those of you who are unfamiliar, for the rest of the world, especially like in places where there's no there aren't like a high population of black people and like black culture, it's a fascinating thing for people to learn about American culture, because American culture is black culture. That's it. It's the #1 cultural export. And that's because capitalist businesses, capitalist industries, specifically Hollywood, love exploiting black people for their culture. And then that's the forward-facing side of American culture. You're not going to apologize for what, dumbass? What do you mean? Apologize for what? Shut the fuck up. You got caught, brother. GG. You're not going to apologize? I'm not going to apologize for shit. Suck my dick, idiot. What the fuck do you mean? Yeah, dude, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm sorry that I fucking, like, I don't even know what I'm apologizing for. For what? Like, what did I do wrong? Anyway, so that still doesn't make it all right, right? That still does not make it all right, which is why I don't do it. I think that Anna recognizes that. I think TYT recognizes that. I mean, they are not even saying the N-word here for, you know, funsies or making like racist jokes or anything like that. They're saying it in a news context, which they no longer find appropriate either. They stopped doing that. But the same could be said for Joe Rogan. And that's why people are going to probably get mad at me on this. But like, I don't think Joe Rogan says racist shit like that. And it's not because like he was young back then and he changed. But I'm pretty sure that like some of this stuff is news contextually, you know, in a similar capacity to the Young Turks' clips. Some of it is because he did say it. And then there's also the completely unacceptable one, which is the Planet of the Apes joke, right? Like, that's just like, that is just really, really racist. No use fucking dancing around that or anything like that. It's just racist. It's just straight up a racist ass fucking joke that like every black person in here has heard a million times over. It's so common. It's so hacky. Like, it's just the most obvious, horrible thing, okay? This one specifically.
He goes, "That in a good neighborhood?" He's like, "Oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out. And we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people.
So that's like completely, that's just like very, very obvious, very fucking bad, hacky ass, racist ass jokes. No two ways about it. Totally gross, totally awful. There's a reason why it's in fucking 1P, because it's from like 10, 12, I don't know how many fucking years ago, right? That is like very definitionally, that is like the racist ass one, right? Like all of that is racist as fuck. The reason why it's resurfacing now is because people are using that as an opportunity because of all the other shit that he's done that is, I think, really damaging. Like the COVID denial, you know, the vaccine conspiracies, all this other shit that he's promoting. And that's precisely why they're talking about this. They're like resurfaced all of that, okay? I mean, motherfucker still had hair back then. Like, that's how you know this shit is old. So here's what he had to say. I didn't watch the entire thing. I did watch like up to here, I think. And I thought it was pretty reasonable. I want to play all of it though. And I want to talk about it as quickly as possible here. And for the record, like, you know, Ethan Klein has apologized for exactly a similar thing. You guys know this. I've defended him as well. I defend people that I disagree with or defend people that I agree with. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, if someone has demonstrated growth, if someone has already stopped and have personally rehabilitated, why the fuck am I going to constantly bring it up? Unless it's like relevant to the conversation. If Joe Rogan was still doing like hella racist shit right now, okay? If he was like constantly trying to dog whistle or be as racist as possible against black people specifically and like doing shit like that, that's when you bring up the old stuff that he did to be like, look, this is a long history of his racism, then that's different. I think that comment about Michael Eric Dyson and blackness during Jordan Peterson interview helped kick this off. That probably is a part of it. He's just a dumbass. Like the racism here of Joe Rogan's like racism is like not the Joe Rogan's racism from 12 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like old, out of touch white guy racism. which is expected to some degree. It doesn't make it all right, doesn't make it appropriate, but like the old stuff, that was actually fucking racist. And I don't think he's like that. I think he has actually gotten a lot better, but let's hear what he has to say.
There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years.
Like, this is correct. Like, I think that this is not only correct, but good.
Long time when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly.
This is for the times where he's like said it while like, you know, talking about the word or anything like that. That is understandably something that he's apologizing for. I don't think he talks at all about the Planet of the Apes thing. Like that one is worse for sure. In my opinion, that is more hateful and more racist than him just saying the N-word when he's talking about the N-word. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know if he talks about it, but maybe he will.
I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it and it could be a punchline, it could be a term of endearment, it could be lyrics to a rap song, it could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist, because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up.
I mean, this is the part, this is the extent of what I watch. And up to this point, 100%, like this is valid. Obviously, it's not my place. I'm a fucking white dude. Not only am I a white dude, but I'm a white dude who grew up in Turkey. I'm a white dude who grew up only seeing black people and black culture in Hollywood. That's just the fucking, that's just the reality. Like that's not, there isn't like a black culture in Turkey in the same way. There aren't black people in Turkey in the same way. Up to this point though, I do think this is like a person who legitimately is like, yeah, no, this is fucked up. Like this is not, what I did was inappropriate and I'm sorry and I don't do it anymore.
Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy shit, it looks bad.
When he's out of context, or when he says he's out of context, what he's talking about in that situation is like the Young Turks clip that's going around. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not even to the same degree, because like contextually, the fucking TYT hosts are not racist. Like in any case, like most of the fucking clips that they found, that they pulled, they're quite literally talking about like the Young Turks covering white supremacy and racist shit from an anti-racist, anti-white supremacist point of view. So it's really fucking idiotic when like reactionaries clip shit like that and go, whoa, look at that, which is very different still when you even apply context to the Joe Rogan situation, because like he still is doing the Planet of the Apes joke at that time. You know what I mean? So like that stuff is racist. Like that is absolutely fucking racist.
And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab and we got dropped off in this all black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes.
I mean, you did. It's the joke. The joke that you made is bad. It's hacky. It's hacky. It's bad. It's fucking. This is literally worse than like reading out the N-word in a quote, or is so much worse than like, yeah, it's just bad. It's not good. There's no reason to fucking defend that. Like, there's no reason to try and defend that. It's like, I think one thing that we need to do as human beings is be like, look, I fucked up. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. It's horrible. Because like, it's not like he's gonna refine that bit and make that joke again, because the ultimate point of that joke literally is that, you know, black people are like apes, right? Don't say it's a joke, holy fuck, because I am the comedy defender here. Even from a comedic standpoint, you should just admit that that's hacky as fuck. Like, that is the most hacky fucking thing you can say. Racist jokes, even if you're thinking about it from the point of view of fucking trying to make comedy, racist jokes are hacky as fuck. It's literally bottom of the fucking barrel. It is just the worst. Anyway, but my point is this. You should be able to fucking own the bad shit that you did, apologize, and move on and demonstrate growth, okay? So the environment that we're in, obviously people that refuse to do that are at fault. And also on the other side, like when people do that, you still won't let them fucking live. You know what I mean? And it's really fucked up and it's really stupid. It's just like, let people apologize. Joe Rogan should. I don't know if he is right now. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like he's trying to still defend it. But like, people fuck up. People say bad things. People can even be actual fucking racists, okay? People can be like literally fucking racist people. There are Nazis that are no longer Nazis anymore, you know, life after hate. Like, there are organizations that directly work with people that get pulled out of far-right radicalization chambers, okay, and are no longer like that. If you don't believe in rehabilitation, you're not a fucking progressive. If you don't believe that people can change for the better, you're not a fucking progressive. It's one of the most annoying parts about American culture.
And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying, there's a lot of black people there.
See? But we know what you were trying to say, bro. You're still fucking, you know, anyway, whatever. He's saying it's racist. He admits that it's racist, but he's still like trying to fucking defend it. I don't know. It's just not great. That part is not great, apology wise. That's a light 3, okay? On the Fantano scale, I'm rating that part of the apology a light 2, not even a 3.
Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying, there's a lot of black people there.
Yeah, we get the joke. I don't know why he's trying to explain it. He's literally saying like, no, the joke is that like black people are apes. He's like, look, Planet of the Apes, not in Africa, but black people are like apes. Like, you know, that was the joke. Like, yeah, that's the point. That's why people are mad about that one. That one is kind of bad. Okay.
But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video. Hopefully, at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies and much love.
I mean, he is apologizing. He is not great, but I mean, it's the worst thing is like, listen, there's probably a million more clips like this, okay? From old clips, from new times, clips from like even now when he said shit that's like sussy, like the whole, I'm not, I'm white, but I'm not, I'm Italian, that sort of shit. Like, you know, this is like 2016, 2014 era under Obabe type fucking culture wars all over again. Here's the reality, okay? I think he recognizes that it's racist. He's trying to fucking cope with like his own ego while also recognizing that the joke is racist and apologizing for it as best as possible over here. Because the ape one is like way more racist than like talking about the N-word contextually. You know what I mean? Like, I know most people will just hear him say the N-word and get and hyper focus, laser focus on that. But like the ape one is like actually a racist joke. You know what I mean? That's like actually a racist joke, because the punchline of the ape one is that like black people are apes. That's not joking. That's like, you're fucking, even if you're trying to joke, you're, you know, doing it in a way where your joke is just racist. Like, the only people that'll laugh at that would be like, oh yeah, like that's the fucking joke. Like, okay, the joke is what? That you think black people are like apes? That's not funny unless you're literally a racist person. Ultimately, worse than the ape one. Like I'm sure you're gonna find other ones that are even worse. I mean, dude, look at this. Like, what is this? Is this even more racist shit? I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, look at that, bro. Listen, if Joe Rogan has hair in the clips that you're sending me, it's fucking 12 years ago, okay? If it's in fucking 1P, you're sending me clips from Joe Rogan from like many, many years ago, okay? Music of Twitch 2021 later. I feel like Zoomers failed to recognize that the internet was a wildly different place 10 years ago. I mean, it was still unacceptable back then, though. Like, bro, this shit wasn't acceptable back then either. Like, people still did it and they pushed boundaries, but it was still fucked up. What do you call it? It's like saying, oh, well, slavery was acceptable. It was a different time when the fucking founding fathers were around. It's like, yeah, to who, motherfucker? Not to the black people. You know what I mean? It's still bad. It's still bad behavior. The reason why it's so difficult to fucking apologize for shit like this is because, like, you're apologizing for a different person than who you are. You're literally apologizing for someone who you used to be, someone who you are no longer like, someone who embarrasses you. Like, looking back at like old shit that you did, it embarrasses you. It's embarrassing. You've changed, right? Especially if you've changed. Looking back at that stuff, it's just like, it's whack. Especially if you've literally fucking, especially if you've apologized, especially if you've like, you know, changed and don't do that anymore. That's why I always talk about like this sort of thing. And people get mad at me whenever I talk about this sort of thing because people are like, well, you're a white guy. You've changed, i.e. you've become famous. Yeah, totally. Like when Ethan Klein said the N-word, he was not famous at all. Or when Joe Rogan was saying the N-word, he was not famous at all. You're right. Motherfucker, he hosted the Fear Factor at that point. What the fuck are you talking about, idiot? No, he was still famous. He was very famous. Like, you're wrong. No, it's not because they changed because of fame or whatever. He was still fucking famous. Just don't try and tell us not to be mad because he made a good apology video because he's changed to not saying the N-word in fear of public retaliation. I mean, ultimately, I don't care. This is not what I care about. I think Joe Rogan is way more damaging when he has like fucking white nationalists like Stephen Molyneux on his podcast. He's way more damaging when he's like fucking offering credence and offering relevance in his platform to like Gavin McInnes that goes on and creates the Proud Boys and Milo Yiannopoulos. I think Joe Rogan is way more damaging when he's spreading COVID misinformation. Racism is all around America, okay? We just covered a 22-year-old delivery driver, a DoorDash driver, get fucking destroyed on his own couch, in his own fucking apartment on a no-knock raid in Minneapolis. Joe Rogan is not responsible for that. And Joe Rogan's racism offenses with respect to how racist the American society has been constructed in perpetuity from its fundamentals all the way to contemporary society is not, he's on a completely different playing field than Joe Rogan be like, I'm sorry, I fucking said racist jokes when I had hair. And, you know, and then tried to still, with his ego, defend it too, like, because he definitely does fucking defend it here, where he's like, oh, I didn't mean like black people were apes, but I kind of did mean it, but like I didn't mean to mean it. Like, it's just bullshit. So I'm not allowed to be mad at him? No, I'm saying you can be as mad at him as you want. It's valid. Get mad at him, okay? I'm not telling, when I said I don't care, I mean like, I don't personally care. You can do whatever you want, okay? No apology is going to be perfect, and I don't think he is like the same level of prejudiced as he once was. He's still, of course, prejudiced. So many people are, okay? So many people have racist tendencies. It's very hard to shake. He had these until he was like, even when he was famous, even well into his adulthood. Very difficult for him to shake that sort of shit. I've heard a million different fucking apologies from a million different people being fucking racist, and this one is higher on the ranks as far if we're like ranking who the fuck is being genuine. But ultimately in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't. This is like, what do you call it? People are like upset about this because they just saw it. I've known about this for a long time. I don't know. Maybe it's just like, and obviously because I'm privileged, I'm a white person. And or more importantly, I'm not a black person that grew up in the United States of America. From where I'm standing, it's like a dude who I've heard a million times over say things that I've heard a million times over, saying and probably repeating all of those fucking things that a bunch of you have probably said on the internet as well, without having a major fucking a major platform that you have benefited from not saying it on a major platform, and you've grown from. You know what I mean? You've grown and you've changed. Since he has spread false information about COVID, I don't care if he gets nailed on a cross for other reasons. Yeah, like I just, you know, focus your energy and effort on like the contemporary shit that does matter, because in the grand scheme of things, when you think about this sort of stuff, to the average American, to most people on the planet, this weakens the overall argument because they see that they see themselves in Joe Rogan. We live in a racist society. We live in a white supremacist society. White supremacist social conditioning is like a fundamental part of this. That's why when you grow up as a black person in America, and you go to a public school and you're getting the whitest education possible, you yourself end up learning less about your own background, about your own heritage, about your own history. So like, of course, a white dude on top of that is going to have fucking racist ass takes. It's what you do when you learn and what you grow. That's what matters. You're complaining about cancel culture, essentially. No, I think there's a valid and reasonable fucking thing to like get upset over Joe Rogan about, and that is not if Joe Rogan's making these jokes right now, then holy fuck, that's completely unacceptable. Okay, but if someone has already made these fucking jokes back in the day and they don't do that anymore, and they deleted it, they very clearly recognize that it was unacceptable, then I don't know what you want from people. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what you want from motherfuckers who like have apologized for it, right? It's just very frustrating to constantly fucking have to rehash shit that you've done in the past that you is inappropriate and unacceptable. And when I see Joe Rogan talking about this, like, and that's the reason why there's a lot of black people in this chat that are also not fond of Joe Rogan for many different things, that are looking at this and going, this is not the worst apology that I've ever heard. Like, he's not doubling down to say like, oh, I have black friends. He's not fucking saying all this other shit that you hear from a million different people who aren't actually apologetic. It's more so that he is embarrassed, understandably so, about things that he said in the past, and he's trying to say like, I'm not a racist person, even though I did make racist jokes back then. But not everyone knows how to fucking atone for their sins per se under the gospel of liberalism. Yeah, the trans stuff, like, you don't hear him fucking apologize for transphobia because he's fucking transphobic. You know what I mean? The thing that is unproductive about this conversation is that, like, there are legitimate ways to talk about this and be like, damn, this is like fucked up that Joe said this. But now, for the average American who is way more racist than fucking Joe is now, and definitely as racist as Joe was back then, or even to the average American who was as racist as Joe Rogan and is no longer as racist, right? They look at this and they go, oh, what the fuck? The liberal loony left is going again. They're crazy. They're going again. So it almost, we go back into the cancel culture argument. And the unfortunate reality is it's just the left is never going to win that. It's just not going to happen. Play the race science Joe Rogan clip. It goes a bit beyond. Dude, the ape one is already, it's enough for me to know that that was a racist fucking joke, dude. And I'm sure this is going to be racist as fuck too.
You know that he's got some black in him. But how much? What's going on here?
Are you asking me to strip Joe Rogan now?
What are you?
Dad's black, mom's white. Standard issue, pretty much.
Powerful combination genetic-wise, right? You get the body of the black man, and then you get the mind of the white man all together in some strange combination.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the strongest combinations of all time.
What the fuck? Is the guy he's talking to a black person? Isn't Freddie Lockhart? Isn't he black? This is literally like fucking. I mean, this is like race science shit. I mean, straight up. He's kind of suggesting that black people are dumb paint champ. No, he's not kind of suggesting it. That is the point. No, he's literally saying that. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not a kind suggestion. There's nothing kind about that at all. That's just race science shit, dude. That's literally that's what he's saying. Yeah, he is half dad African American, mom Italian English. Oh, so he's making the race science argument to the fucking person about their own personal background. Jesus Christ, dude. Joe Rogan, to a guest who said he has a black dad and a white mom. Powerful combination genetic wise, right? You get the body of a black man and you get the mind of a white man all together in some strange combination. Black people have a different brain. Oh my fucking Lord.
That doesn't, by the way, mean that black people don't have brains. It's a different brain. Don't get me.
Someone in the chat said Joe meant this as a compliment. Dude, he did. That's how fucking insidious racism is. That's how fucking powerful racism is. That's how powerful white supremacy is. He thinks he's being complimentary to a half black, half white person when he's saying that, not realizing how fucking racist he's being. That's my point. It's a part of your life. It's a part of your everyday existence, because when you live in America, when you grow up in America, you think that's a fucking compliment, dude. Why the fuck do we talk about this shit all day, every goddamn day? And other white people also think that, for the record. They think that that's like, oh, I don't understand what the fuck Joe was saying that was like wrong. He's talking to a black guy, you know, like that's the point. So being able to overcome that, or being able to like recognize that that's bad and changing your attitude, especially when like there's a sea of like confirmation that you can get from other people who also feel that way, when like every part of the media is telling you that that's all right, it's hard to fucking shake that. Why do you think the guy he was talking to just said, yeah, I literally agreed and didn't care about what Joe said? I can't speak on this because I'm not a black person, from obviously my own personal experience. The only thing I can do is judge this by what I've heard from my black friends about these sorts of conversations. But if you're a black person, or if you're half black, you're quite literally conditioned into, you know, appealing to the sensibilities of the white majority around you. It's just as simple as that. So even in that situation, when you're like having a conversation with a person who's like saying otherwise like very racist shit, it's a really awkward position to be in socially, because you never want to fucking be like, oh, that's racist as fuck, bro. Shut the fuck up. You have to fit in. Many of you chatters don't realize that like your one black friend in fucking middle school, that was the only black kid at school that you constantly went up to get like the N-word pass, was probably doing it at first out of obligation and to try to fit in. And then maybe after a certain while, he himself was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this because this is like positive affirmations that I'm getting from white people, not recognizing until many years later. And there's probably some fucking, you know, black kids in the chat right now that used to feel that way, that recognize it later on, that like that still comes from a fucking place of being otherized. And like your only utility as a black person in that situation was allowing and excusing other white people's racism. That sucks. My school in SoCal was pretty segregated because of the income disparities, and this led me to being my only Mexican kids in the water polo team. So I was friends with white people and be tokenized like that shit sucks. You don't feel whole. I didn't recognize this shit till I moved to San Francisco alongside discovering you. If you, as the only Mexican kid in your fucking rich white neighborhood, are unaware personally of yourself being tokenized until later in your life, then obviously the fucking white kids that are being racist are not even aware of it. It's just like their way of life, is their way of existence. This isn't to like defend the white people being racist, but it's more so to help everybody comprehend that, like, you know, if someone recognizes that they're racist and they've moved on and they want to no longer be that way, then like constantly fucking rehashing that is unproductive. And you're not really winning anything. Like, you're not winning anything. You're not winning a prize. You're not winning anything. You got nothing out of that, you know? You just felt sanctimonious for a little bit, but that's it. Like, this isn't a defense of Joe Rogan, because he definitely has said some indefensible shit, but he himself does not defend the indefensible shit that he said. You know what I mean? So, like, what do you want? Get mad at him for the things that he's defending. Like, get mad at Joe Rogan for the things that he's currently defending. Like, fucking, you know, the COVID misinformation and stuff like that.